This week on Across the Arrowverse, Supergirl Season 5, Episodes 1 to 8. Something happened.
Happened.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Across the Arrowverse. I'm Matthew Vose.
And I'm Catherine Vose.
So we're back. We are doing the first sequence of Supergirl episodes up to Crisis.
Yeah.
So these are the episodes. Event Horizon, Stranger Beside Me, Blurred Lines, In Plain Sight, Dangerous Liaisons, Confidence Women, Tremors, and The Wrath of Rama Khan.
Rama Khan.
Rama Khan.
Not Romy Khan.
He's not a little pot for making mousse and pâté. And...
I just thought the way they were saying it sounded a bit like Comic-Con. So I was like, what is it, Robicon?
Yeah. He's not a Comic-Con nor a Ramekin.
He's Rama Khan.
Mitch Pileggi. We have had some guest stars this season. That was the actor Mitch Pileggi, most famous for Assistant Director Skinner in the X-Files.
Oh.
Significant X-Files person, so it's always exciting when he crops up and stuff, because he's quite a cool power actor, so yeah, that was cool.
Nice.
Lots of stuff happened. Like, there were lots and lots of plots and threads and characters and things.
And lots of different plots that they've not quite fully tied together.
Yeah.
Although there is definitely, you can see where the edges are overlapping.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the sort of the disparate pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are sort of floating around in space and overlapping at the corners. They're yet to lock into place together.
Okay. But yes, you can see how they might become connected in the end. Possibly more confidently than they've done in the past.
Yeah.
I think, which is good, and you can appreciate that. I'm almost surprised, and particularly this is coming off The Flash, which clearly had its arc for 8 episodes, and then Crisis.
Yeah.
And Crisis even impacted that. Nary a mention of Crisis in this.
No, not until the very last moment.
Yeah, the appearance of the Monitor, they didn't even explain who the Monitor was.
No.
So
I think the crossover will be a hijinks.
Okay.
But I think they will then pick back up on what I think is their main plot, which is the whole Leviathan shenanigans.
Right. Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's what I think.
Well, we'll circle back round. What have you thought so far? Any feelings on it?
Mixed.
Mixed.
There's bits I like.
Okay.
There's bits I don't like.
Okay.
I think it's a little overcomplicated.
Okay. With all these pieces.
And I think they may have jumped the shark a little bit for me.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What do you want to hit first?
So let's hit the bit that I flipped from liking and disliking and liking and disliking. Lena Luthor.
Right.
I think there's a lot to talk about with Lena Luthor.
There is indeed.
Lena, evil or not? Discuss.
We'll come back to, I love a villain who does not think they're the villain. She definitely does not think she's evil. I don't think necessarily her plan was evil, although it's incredibly similar to, I think, the Thinker, who was going to take over everyone's brains from Flash. In all honesty, I don't think we're yet at a decision. I think, so let's circle back round, I think Lena and whatever happens next might be important in Crisis.
Yeah.
Because clearly Lex is going to be a thing in Crisis, so I think she's going to be pulled into it. I think she might be a casualty of Crisis, a change from that, something instigator, saviour, that it might be that she does something that redeems herself.
Yes, because I think this series of episodes And I don't know how she hasn't actually got to this point before, because I think Alex gave quite a good cast back to some of the shocking, shocking things she's done before. I mean, Lena's very much the greater good type of misguided villain, or not even villain, anti-hero.
Good
maybe. You know, like when you actually isolate the sort of the smaller activities she's been part of, she's done some horrifically unethical things.
Yeah.
Like, horrifically unethical.
In this season.
In this season alone, and in past seasons. So, evil is probably too strong a word, but she's heading herself down a path into a world of trouble, really.
Absolutely. So it might be they pull her back or they don't. It is the fact that she's not a villain, and gone that way, is some of that down to the strength of, I think it's Katie McGrath who plays her, doing a very good job, actually, balancing the line of, I'm not the villain, here's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think she really does portray that very well. And, she portrays the emotions and the genuine desire to do good of Lena very well. It's just, I think Lena, almost is a not dissimilar way to Lex in some ways. She just thinks she knows better.
Right.
And then, therefore, because she thinks she knows better than everyone, she's just riding roughshod over people's rights, if you know what I mean. It's very interesting. So that's one of the things I was thinking about Lena. I feel like perhaps we have some climax coming with Lena in this series.
I would agree. Like I say, I feel like it might even be in Crisis.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the thing that redeems her or sets her up as the big villain, possibly.
Yeah, I don't quite know where we're going. We're either going to fully redeem her, and she'll either leave the show altogether, which would be a shame, but at some point characters run out of their arc, I guess, or she'll join the gang properly. I don't see that working neatly.
Okay.
But kind of my heart wants that to happen. But anyway. Or she'll do something that pushes her beyond even Supergirl's forgiveness.
Right.
And she'll become a proper villain.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point this season, it might not be Crisis, but I'm hoping it will be. They've got enough room to play with, so hopefully they will.
Yeah. So the other thing for me with Lena, conflict and lies. I think I've said a million times in these shows, I hate a story that's driven by people lying to each other.
Okay.
And at the start of this season, I was like, oh God, is this going to all be about, do I tell Lena, do I not tell Lena? And then that got resolved.
Absolutely.
Super quickly, full big points to them. And then it was all about, Lena knows, but Supergirl doesn't know that she knows. And then there's a bit more conflict and lies. But again, that's now out in the open. So I am pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Basically. Nice. I really, because in the past they'd have carried this sort of rubbish on for a whole season.
Agreed.
And I mean, ideally, I'd have preferred Lena to know who Supergirl was two seasons ago. Yeah. but maybe they were plotting to this plot.
Yeah, and I think it gives me confidence in the plot that they have done those two reveals fairly quickly.
Yeah,
it makes me think, they've got actual plans they need to get to.
Yeah,
and I like that she revealed to Kara, to Supergirl. Like, I've been using you, and here's why I've been using you, and here's what's happened, and and I have actually been using you, and I think it landed as well as it should have done.
Yeah,
and again,
absolutely.
I put that down. I think the writing's very good. I think they give her good words to say, but I think the actress portrays it really well.
Really well.
I do like her performance a lot.
Yeah, she's very much. We know Lena. She's got a proper, fully developed character.
Absolutely.
No, carry on.
In the same way, the woman who now runs Catco, I don't get that. It's sort of set up that they're equals, but I don't get the same powerhouse performance.
No, she's a little lightweight.
Yeah, generic CEO boss.
Yeah, I don't give her more than this season, even if she stays the full season.
Okay.
I feel this is she, and this is one of the other points. Right. I'll flip onto it. Her and William.
Yeah.
Mr. Chiseled Cheekbones dude.
Russian Indian British dude. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I feel they are there in support of this storyline,
right? Yep.
Rather than characters in support of the wider world. I think they might be gone by the end of the season,
there is a
for
hint
next season
of a relationship with Kara and William.
I agree.
Just a hint of it.
I have got William equals love interest. I don't see him as a long-term love interest.
Okay.
Well, we'll see by the end of the series again.
Yeah, because I think it's a very nice. He's basically Lois Lane.
Oh, that's true.
And he is basically Lois Lane.
That is true. He's a proper investigative reporter, isn't he?
But they sort of backhanded him into the show a little bit, and then could set that up to give us a character that they know how to write.
Yeah.
If you think of it in those terms, Superman and Lois, Supergirl and William, I think it could work quite nicely. Turn it into the Adventures of Lois and Clark, but
I hadn't mapped that across. Okay, my confidence that he'll be gone by the end of the season has dropped a notch.
Yeah,
but just staying on William for a moment. Please, can they stop talking about him writing for the Times of London?
Times of London.
The Times of London. Nah. Seriously, just call it the Times.
Do Americans call it the Times in reference to the New York Times? Is it because there's a Los Angeles Times, a New York Times, and maybe Times in each of the major cities? The Chicago Times, maybe. Although I think, doesn't Seattle have the Seattle Post-Intelligencer or something?
I don't know.
Their newspaper, and it's the Washington Post.
It is the Washington Post.
So, but maybe that's just it is to differentiate that. But I also don't think I've ever heard anyone say the Times and mean the New York Times.
But I guess we
know what the Times is.
We know what the Times is, and I wonder if I was a New Yorker and I referred to the Times, would I be saying the New York Times?
Possibly. We will ask out on Twitter and see what people tell us. Yeah.
Excellent. So, can I carry on down my list? So we were talking about Lena, we were talking about the conflict of lies, and how pleased we were that it was resolved quickly.
Right.
Now, it's a quick resolution that's the segue here. Malefic. Yes. Malefic hates John. Oh, sorry, John. Hates John. Hates him. He's going to do evil things because of how much he hates him. And then they do what effectively is a Vulcan mind meld.
Right.
And flip. Oh my goodness, I don't hate you anymore. I understand everything. I am now a force for good. What?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like a quick resolution sometimes, but that was just a little bit too magic screwdriver.
Yeah, and it really did feel like that plot with Malefic had then been stretched out.
Yeah.
If we're saying that the Lena and Kara had sort of quick motions to it that moved us to places we thought they would stretch out, and that gives us confidence in it. The fact this was long sequences of the same thing happening. He attacks, they ward him off somehow, but it's a kind of a score draw at the end.
And we're repeatedly shown what glowing green eyes mean.
God, yeah.
Now maybe that was like the educational stages at the start of a computer game. Maybe that was so that later on in the season, when someone's eyes start glowing green, we know what they're up to. But
it was heavy-handed.
It was, and also that he's gone now.
Yes, he's gone to Mars.
He's gone to Mars, right? There you go. Off you go. We'll park you in that on that shelf. We may pull you off the shelf again next season. Who knows?
Okay. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to think about this in a bigger story perspective. Why did they do it then? They wanted it because John is going to be significant to Crisis? Like that has been brought in because of Crisis. And you wouldn't do that with a... Oh, what did we watch recently where they did something at the end of one season and then they abandoned it quite quickly? When suddenly season 2, the next season started, it was a Star Trek or something. And I was like, they introduced that thing. Or maybe it was the Borg in Voyager. The fact we've sort of reintroduced the Borg.
Right.
Is like, we went beyond Borg space, but there's still Borg out there because we quite like to write about them. That
maybe.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
We made a mistake in last season, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is that case. I don't think they would have gone, we hate the way we left it in last season, let's wrap that up quickly and just get rid of him. It's, we want to do something with John in Crisis, so we have to get him to that point. So maybe this is, John leaves, John dies, John goes to another one of the shows or something.
Who knows? I mean, I do think it's interesting that John is the one that is being tested by the Monitor for Crisis, not Supergirl.
Yeah.
I think that's... That's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's sort of, but it does again, as you say, maybe are they setting it up so that all of the key ones that are being focused on for Crisis finger across the neck. It's
Finger
really
across the neck means death. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because we know Arrow's going. The Flash, as we spoke about last episode, in some form is due to die. John, to be honest, they have done an awful lot with that character.
Mm-hmm.
Is there really any more they can do with that character?
And I'll tell you the other thing about the character of the Martian Manhunter. He's never been on live action before.
Okay.
So, knowing what I know about the guest stars in Crisis, there are other Supermen.
Yeah.
Supermans. There are other Flashes. And we know there are other Flashes. We've met them directly. So the other sort of big powerhouse, big characters who will have an impact in this sort of thing, there are other versions, there are other disposable versions, which is the thing about the Flash. Like, there's a Flash 90, he's spare, and we've met Flash from different Earths, so... But there's only ever been one Martian Manhunter.
Very true.
Very true. Could there be a disposable Superman? Well, there's Tom Welling, and there's Batman 66, and Batman 89, and all this, so...
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, he's the one who stands out as different. That and Arrow.
Yeah.
But we already know something's happening with Arrow.
Interesting. Right,
you can
what
see
else?
I'm all about the predictions for Crisis. It's just where I am at the moment.
So before we get to Crisis, or before we return to Crisis, I have two more things that I've written down that cropped up as interesting to me. One, Eve Tessmacher.
Right.
Is she still Eve Tessmacher? Is she something else? Because she's kind of like computer-brained Eve Tessmacher, but she also still seems to be a little bit Eve Tessmacher.
Yes.
What is she?
Both? Is it a sort of vision situation? That it's different things coming together?
I'm just like, is it? Yeah, because I keep getting confused. Is it the AI personality full stop that's just now controlling Tessmacher's body? Or has the character of the AI, the personality of the AI, somehow melded with Eve Tessmacher's personality?
I think if I had to judge it, I would say it's the character is the AI, but like you say, it's the body, so it still has access to the memories and knowledge and experiences. But I don't know.
So, access to the memories and knowledge and experiences. We found out at the end of last season that Tessmacher's being controlled by Leviathan, right? Has she spilled all of those beans to Lena? Or has she just told Lena about the existence of Leviathan?
It depends on how much you know, because I didn't get the impression Eve was a member of Leviathan.
Right.
They were just using her because she was working with Lex and Lena and people.
I suppose I interpreted it as they'd put her to work with Lex and Lena and people.
But I don't think she was
for nefarious
an
purposes.
inner circle type Leviathan person.
No, agree. So yeah. Okay, Leviathan.
Right.
So I made a reference earlier that I felt that this season had jumped the shark a little bit.
Okay.
This is what I feel.
Has it jumped the Leviathan?
It's jumped the Leviathan. I mean, come on. How many deep, dark secrets from ages ago are we expect to believe the Earth holds? Because we had the crashed spaceship with Udi Flip, love interest. What was he called?
Monel.
That was it. Sorry. We had that crashed spaceship that was supposed to be undiscovered, unknown, and just kind of hanging out there in the Earth for ages. Ja'an himself has kind of been hanging out on Earth for a long time, hasn't he? And now we're supposed to say that John has never noticed that there is this deep, dark, secret organisation called Leviathan that is some kind of eco-warrior... anti-hero
the same
group?
person cropping up in things. I mean, there's an argument that he never looked for it, but I think it's another secret organisation. And every show has had at least one secret organisation. I know this isn't on the same Earth as those others, but it's just... At some point, can we stop with this?
And this one seems so very powerful that it seems absolutely baffling that they would be doing that. And also, I mean, seriously... This dude Ramakhan. I mean, how bored must he be?
Yeah, yeah.
Just me, I mean, like, if all he does is an earthquake, like, once every few hundred years, I'm surprised he's not a complete booze hound sitting in that mafia den underground that they've got.
Yeah.
I mean, surely they must do a bit more than that. But it just, I was just a bit I'm not into the Leviathan thing.
No, I mean, there's an implication there that they are old gods and there's something else going on.
Yeah.
So I feel like that might even end up in the metaphysical,
right?
Something. So that would be interesting to keep an eye on. But
Yeah,
that is very much a second half of the season thing. I don't think Leviathan itself is going to have any part to play over the crossover.
I agree. I think they've just sort of brought it out, showed us how dangerous it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to park it during the crossover, and then we'll pick it up, and that will be our our Supergirl big bag.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yes.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, so
that's all my
we've
points.
not touched on our regulars. So we have Alex and Kelly Olsen?
Yes, Kelly.
AZ Tesfaye as Kelly Olsen.
Yeah.
In a relationship.
Yeah.
In a quasi-stable relationship.
Yes. Has potential to be a stable relationship.
Yeah.
But life events are making that a little bit less certain than it would otherwise be.
Yeah. But I'm quite enjoying that.
Yeah.
I'm sort of enjoying her setup as VR psychotherapist, psychologist treating people, and that gives them an in to the company, who is also, I think, going to be significant in the second part of the thing. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why she keeps getting psychic visions or connections.
Oh, she's going to have powers in some way, isn't she?
Yeah.
So it feels a little heavy-handed. It feels a little, well, we need this thing to happen, or we need to give this character more stuff, so let's have them working for the company that it turns out was going to be the evil company. It's just, it pulls back to that small world thing. Yeah.
And now I'm not even sure whether it is going to be an evil company. Because Andrea's she's a bit wet, isn't she, really, for a superhero? Or a supervillain. But, Andrea she's being controlled by Leviathan, but doesn't really want to be controlled by Leviathan. She was just trying to stop her dad from killing himself. It's all a bit... And now Leviathan have killed her great love interest who had a backpack spider.
Yeah. It's very much... They're making her sympathetic enough that she's not an actual villain.
No.
Yet. Whether she will be.
But definitely her tech is going to be key to Lena's misguided villainry.
Whatever Lena's doing, whatever anyone else is doing, the fact that, everyone in the world is doing it, the fact they keep referring to it as a combined dream, and we have a dreamer character who can control people's dreams. So...
dubious.
So there's something coming there, and again, it all feels a little heavy-handed on that side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, none of it is done subtly, to be fair.
It is Supergirl.
Except Brainy.
Oh, I love Brainy. Yeah. He's my favourite.
Who was having a very good season on top of another very good season last time. Some relationshipy stuff, which your mileage may vary on. But interesting moments of his inhibitor getting broken and him going slightly high-level genius and figuring things out, which might come back again, that he needs to do that again, something on those lines, because I'm still expecting at some point he'll become evil or another Brainiac will show up or something. So I'm sort of keeping half an eye on it and enjoying the moments he gets.
Yes, me too. I'd kind of like him and Nia just to sort of settle their differences. I mean, the whole overdoing the romance thing was amusing. Yeah. I could have done with a slightly lighter touch than they gave it.
Agreed. They went very, very serious on that.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the bit where he got the spider tattoos on him and had to do a sort of evil moment as well.
He's a good actor, isn't he?
I have a lot of time for... Is it Jesse Rath? Jesse Rath?
Yeah.
Yep, as Brainy. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yes, more Brainy.
Absolutely.
Hooray.
Jimmy Olsen's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, still excited for Crisis?
I am. We've still got other shows to watch first, so, we need to crack on with them. I'm interested. There was absolutely no hint of anything. Like I say, they didn't even explain what the monitor was when he interacted with them, so that was quite interesting. Because I'm expecting something to happen to the multiverse.
Yeah.
Whether it becomes a single universe, whether doorways are more freely open between them, something like that. But there was no hint of this merging with the other shows, which is interesting.
I wonder if they're keeping it relatively standalone. I wonder if they have audience stats that there are those of us that watch them all and love a crossover, and maybe there's a different segment that just watch Supergirl.
Maybe it's show by show. People who watch The Flash are very likely to watch the crossovers.
Yeah.
People who watch Supergirl, like you say, a percentage of them only watch Supergirl. So, and Legends, maybe people watch Legends.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily cross over something like that, because Legends is still slightly separate. It pulls things in from the other shows when they've gone, but I don't think relies on your knowledge of those other shows.
Legends is a little bit like the cheaper cousins.
Yeah, a little bit. It could be the animated adventures of rather than anything else. So
yeah. As much as I love it.
How are you feeling on it? Are you at Crisis or Supergirl? What would you, what are you thinking coming next?
I'm keen to see more.
Okay.
Of both. I'm keen to get to the crossover.
Yep.
I'm keen to see more Brainy. So that's. But I suppose I'm not as excited by Supergirl as I was by The Flash.
Right.
Is what I would say. But there were mixed. It was a mixed season. There was some good stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I'm not saying here. I am not watching the second half. You're on your own with that, love. I'm definitely still in it. It's not arrowed me.
No.
So
okay, let's put this in another thing then. Flash after Crisis is going to be different.
Yeah.
Because Flash was all about Crisis.
And I'm super interested to know why and how
exactly.
and what.
The character and the show is going to be very different.
Yes.
I haven't gotten that sense from Supergirl in the same way all the crossovers have been for Supergirl. It's been, like you say, she goes off and has hijinks and then comes back and the show continues.
Exactly.
So the second half is going to be about the things we've discussed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's more Supergirl stories. Big bands that are difficult to beat, who have, giant plots to destroy the Earth.
Yeah.
And a love interest. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more Supergirl and we like Supergirl. It doesn't feel different.
Agree.
And potentially we're going to be down on another Luthor at some point soon.
Yes.
Which is a shame because the Luthors have been good additions to this show.
I am genuinely excited that Lex is going to be part of Crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, because John Cryer is wonderful at that part.
Really good.
And especially if it's not necessarily him being evil.
No.
And getting to do something a little bit more nuanced than we had. Because, it was great he got to do the big bombastic stuff in the last season. I'm interested to see what he does with the character.
Are we going to come out of this with Lex being the good Luthor and Lena... Letha? Who's Letha?
Letha. But yeah.
Lena being the bad one.
What an interesting idea. Well, we'll have to find out. So, Arrow next, I think.
Okay.
7 episodes of Arrow. And then we'll see if we can get Batwoman done.
Yep.
And then we can get into Crisis.
We need to get the telly on, love.
We do. Right. So that wraps us up for another week. If you have thoughts, questions or comments, you can use the hashtag ATAV on Twitter. Or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram as Eloquent Gushing. If you want to help support us, please check out our Patreon page where you can get access to exclusive content across all our shows. Go to patreon.com/eloquentgushing. And don't forget to visit the homepage, eloquentgushing.com, where you can find the other shows across the network and subscribe to our weekly newsletter with all the goings on. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you across the Arrowverse.
Across the Arrowverse is an Eloquent Gushing production. For more shows you'll love, please visit eloquentgushing.com.